Good morning. Well, I'm always amazed, sometimes amused, more often than not, annoyed and angry, and sometimes I'm disgusted at the government policies, inane, bordering on idiocy and stupidity, discriminatory, and absolutely incomprehensible to a normal person. Now imagine we have an immigration policy under which anybody who gives $800,000 to the government or invests $800,000 can get a visa right away. Nothing wrong with that if the money is used properly. But the instances have come to our notice where this policy has been exploited shamelessly by many people to the detriment of the country and the nation. Do you know what's happening in Vancouver and in other places as well? But Vancouver stands out in this sort of incomprehensible yet very practical violation of the policy. What is normally done is that the filthy rich buy a property worth $1 million, and now, for example, in GTA, there is no house less than $1 million. And then they send their family and the kids for free education, free medical aid. As citizens of Canada, they have earned this by investing $800,000, less than $1 million as it is. And the moment they get their maple leaf passport, it's a passport to the shameless exploitation. In the last few years, we have seen that these millionaires, when they come and send their families there, now the families are here, but the earning member is in, say, in China, or in Dubai, or in India, or whatever. So the family here has no income. They manipulate the presentation and they say, we have no income. They are living in a palatial building. And then they claim welfare. Amazing, isn't it? Well, welfare is given to them, so they are a burden on exchequer. And they are living there, getting free medical and free education up to the senior secondary level. And now comes the beauty of it. In the last few years, it has been seen that these millionaires normally do not pay any income tax. The maximum income tax paid by these millionaires is $1,400 per year. Imagine. After all, these are the millionaires living on welfare. These are the millionaires who got the maple leaf passport and all the attendant benefits by investing their ill-earned money possibly, but by exploiting legally an inane policy that weighs heavily against legal immigrants. Now a legal immigrant, when he comes and starts earning, the moment his income reaches a threshold level, he starts paying tax. And in more cases, the people at the lowest rung of society have paid more taxes than these millionaires. Now the question arises, how come that in a bid to attract the millionaires, the government came out with this policy, seemingly very innocuous, seemingly motivated to bring the money in, seemingly an excellent way to attract investment. But is it an investment? It's a dead investment. Now imagine if they were not permitted to buy a ready house, but were asked to set up a business. Or they were asked to construct a house. Now when they construct a house, they'll be paying something different. But purchasing a built-up house is different. It's a very subtle shade of a difference in the two. There will be more employment opportunities generated because they will have to be here to oversee that. And once they are building, then the money would come in a different way. However, the ideal would be that they invest the money, either give it to the government or they invest it by setting up a business. So the investment money should come as an investment rather than an investment in real estate, which they use themselves, not for public good. An investment is there which gives benefit to the investor as well as to the society. Here there is no benefit to the society, but the society, the nation, the country are paying them back indirectly, and they are still richer. This anomaly also shows the lack of planning, the lack of foresight, and the lack of monitoring. In case the officials of the economic development policy, officials both at the federal and the provincial level, had been monitoring the progress, they would have seen the way the policy originally meant to be good. I have no doubt about that. Intentions were good. So originally intended for the good of the country has been manipulated by these manipulators. Unfortunately, this manipulation has gone undetected. And even when detected, no remedial corrective measures have been taken. Friends, it's normally said that the way to the hell is paved with good intentions. This is a clear example of that, how the way to hell is paved with good intentions. 33% of the immigrants pay $15,000 per year as a tax, more than 15,000. And these millionaires hardly ever pay $1,400 per year. Now this is something shocking, something horrible, something unacceptable. This also shows the policy of the government not being attuned with the needs of the country. This shows the lack of abdication of responsibility. Our officials and the politicians possibly presume that the world is inhabited by honest people. Average person is honest. But let's not forget that the people who have earned millions and billions always have a crooked finger. And the crooked finger is utilized while earning and while investing. This is just one example of the stupidity of the government. There are examples galore. There are examples aplenty. Why is it that our country, our nation, our politicians and our leaders cannot think beyond their nose, cannot have a foresight, long-term vision, until and unless the vision is there? Such stupid, insipid, inane. As I told you, I'm angry. I'm angry at the government, and I'm angry because the government let itself be exploited by these people. Why? We have an excellent CRA system. Why doesn't it come into being and alive and active to see that nothing wrong is done? We have CSIS and we have RCMP with the anti-fraud branch. Why the hell are they not taking into consideration the various parameters that are destroying the economy and in fact exploiting the humanistic, human-oriented, intelligently conceived policies which are being improperly implemented? Is it because we do not want to do things right, or is it only because we are careless? Either way, it is unacceptable. Friends, this is just one. Similarly, the recent action of the Ontario government in increasing the hydro rates was a stupid plea that the people have used less hydro. So if you use more hydro, you pay more. If you use less hydro, you pay more. I'm just showing you the inane and unimaginative attitudes of the government. On the one side, we want them to reduce the use of power, energy and hydro, and then we penalize them for that. Now these two are apparently contradictory, but essentially they are the same. They show that the powers that be are suffering from myopia of intellect. There are arteriosclerosis of the thinking process, and that is why the situation is going from bad to worse every day. The second is there is no proper monitoring and no imagination ever used in implementing or formulating our policies. I would say, let there be the watchdog whose job is only to watch the government's rules and the way they are implemented. Our Auditor General does an excellent job, but many times these irritants slip through, but they need not slip through. We have got to ensure that these irritants are exposed, brought to life, and removed. This country doesn't deserve to be exploited. This nation doesn't need to be deluded, defrauded, and defunded. This nation deserves better. Thank you.